Paige growing up and how fast it all moves, and you know, Paige, you know, I have some very vivid memories. It's like it was yesterday. Paige, one of the things we used to do every Saturday and Sunday morning, Paige and Lee and I would go up to McDonald's. They called it Diaz, and we'd have pancakes and syrup. And Paige, as a little kid, had a little distinct little thing going with her. She had this very deep voice, and you had this little tiny little 4 or 5 year old, and like every Saturday and Sunday morning, I would watch this happen. It would happen like clockwork. I'd hear this, "Daddy, more syrup." And you have people looking around. It was like one of these like little midgets out of Wizard of Oz.
I was like 2 or 3.
She did this for a long time. The other thing was, you all know Paige is she's, you know, kind of an animal lover, you know, and she loves all animals, great and small. But she did go through a bad period. When she was 8 or 9, she got into a gerbil phase. Hamsters. And in the course of probably a year, a hamster has a lifespan of maybe 6 or 7 years. Under Paige's tutelage, a hamster lived probably 2 to 3 months. And so every 2 to 3 months, we would have this ceremony, this funeral in the backyard, and I would get out the Bible. We'd just get a couple of psalms and do a eulogy to this particular, Squeaker was a great hamster. And at the end of the thing, we had like 4 or 5, we had like Pet Cemetery back there, 4 or 5 hamster graves. But a little bragging on Lee, Paige rather, and Lee too. One of the things I always confused the names, call them Red Dog, but Paige truly was a gifted athlete growing up. I mean, in basketball, soccer, swimming, softball. I mean, truly, she was awesome. I mean, like in basketball, she was, the point guard. She, steal the ball to the fast break, make the 3-pointers, score most of the points, be the all-star, make it the all-star team, and one year was actually the most valuable player of the all-star game of all the people not right here. And that was, and she was that way pretty much with all the sports, and it was awesome. But I think one of the things, as I think about Paige, is as she's become a young woman, is sort of the character that Paige has developed over time. And I think that anyone who knows Paige, and Dan would probably attest that Paige is anything. She's is this kindness and compassionate, and caring, and as much as I like to say those are traits that she inherited from me. It's probably not the case, but they truly are traits that she inherited from her mother, and those are the kind of things for the wild range of friends that her mother had and Paige has, and all those great character traits.
I got some for you.
Yeah, well, you got the sort of the kick butt, I guess, for me. And the last thing I just want to comment on is as I think of Paige, one of the things I'm most proud of is this whole thing a couple of years ago. She graduated from college and kind of bummed around like a lot of us do, trying to figure out what we're going to do in life. She did Sex the City in Nashville, basically, is what she did for a year with her friends. Not as in the movie.
You two and I were together.
You know what I mean by that, right? But she finally trying to find herself, and ultimately, I'll kind of do a shout out for Annette here. Annette started doing some investigation on South College and teacher certificates, and before you know it, we sort of talked to Paige about that. Paige jumped all over that, and she did the heavy lifting, and man, she worked hard, and she got that degree, and now she just finished her first year, at City Bluff.
Let's go back.
So,
and you're going to go back next year.
Just to kind of, Paige had a lot of friends growing up, and a lot of her friends were boys, but I didn't hear a lot about boy friends. And so, all of a sudden I started hearing this Daniel, something about Daniel this, Daniel that. I thought this could be serious. I'd never heard her talking about a guy before. And so like any father, and you'll know this one of these days, you conjure up what this guy's going to look like, the goth black trench coat with a rings through his nose, and thank God when I saw Daniel, I said, oh man, thank you God. Here he was, a normal-looking guy.
He plays golf.
Plays golf, and I thought this was great. And I got to say, this is honestly, that the more I get to know Daniel, and the more we talk and I get to know him, the more things I find out about him, and I'm so happy that he's a son-in-law. He's first of all, he loves Paige, which is right there at the top. But here's a guy that saved his money. He bought a house. He's got a great work ethic, doing a great job at First Tennessee. He's a great athlete, which, by the way, I think between the athletic teams here,
We're
going to be some kind of super player one of these days. So I just like to, for all of us, I like to just kind of raise a glass and congratulate Paige and Daniel and wish them the best and a long and happy life together as they go forward.